This is unbelievable, frankly unbelievable, both from Victoria's police and especially unbelievable from Liberal MP Gladys Liu. Now this, I hardly need tell you, is Australia. But in Victoria, a police station has just raised the flag of China, the flag of the communist dictatorship of China, as the crowd sang the regime's anthem. Now, the police did this in Box Hill, which is a very large Chinese minority, and they did it on Tuesday, on the 70th anniversary of the Chinese dictatorship. And they did this as Chinese dictator Xi Jinping reviewed his troops and showed the world lots of China's new nuclear missiles and weapons to frighten countries just like ours. Well, I don't know that he needed to bother, because here's my message to China. You don't need to threaten us with soldiers. Our own police are already flying your flag. You've got to ask what's next, you know. Will the Chinese flag be flown over our military bases next? And just to make this flying of China's flag over our police station even worse, it came when we know China has rounded up 1 million Uyghurs, for instance, into re-education camps, when it has jailed Christians and human rights activists, when it has imprisoned an Australian writer and democracy advocate, kept him in solitary confinement, mind you, and charged him with being a spy. And our police raised China's flag over their station just as pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong were risking their lives defending their freedoms from China. And guess what? Victoria's police chief didn't see a problem with this raising of the flag of a foreign nation over his cop shop, raising the flag of a dictatorship over one of his police stations.
Certainly the flag was flown, and it's been the last few years, I think, at the local station. They've got a good relationship with the local Chinese business community and and been working in a collaboration with the local council about the build-up for Chinese New Year and the kick-off for celebrations, and then the Chinese National Day. Yeah, look, it's more to do with those local relationships.
Seriously. Look, let's be honest, what this celebration on Tuesday was really about, it wasn't to celebrate China. It was, precisely speaking, to celebrate 70 years of communist dictatorship. And the flag that police raised over their station is the communist flag, the 5-starred red flag, with red for the Communist Revolution, and that bigger star is for the Communist Party, and the 4 smaller stars are for the 4 social classes it rules over, like the working class, etc., etc. So let me explain this to the police commissioner. Flying the Chinese Communist flag and saying it represents Chinese Australians is like flying the Nazi flag in the 1930s and saying, hey, this represents German Australians. That's how offensive it is to Chinese here, who are not communists, who actually oppose totalitarianism, who have been persecuted by this same dictatorship. I'm talking about Tibetans, I'm talking about Uyghurs, Falun Gong, Christians, democracy activists, the students who fled the Tiananmen Square massacre, the people from Hong Kong and from Taiwan. And you know, it's not just the police putting up the flag of Communist China over our public buildings. Victoria's White House Council did the same last year, put the Communist Chinese flag over the Box Hill Town Hall. What is wrong with that council? What is wrong with the leadership of Victoria Police? What is wrong with the socialist left Labor government of Victorian Premier Dan Andrews? But I also have to ask, what is wrong with federal Liberal MP Gladys Liu and the Morrison government that's protecting her? Because guess who was at that Box Hill police station cutting a birthday cake for the Communist Party of China? Yeah, that's Gladys Liu, federal Liberal MP, there with another politician, State Labor MP Paul Hamer on the right, wishing a dictatorship a happy birthday. Absolutely astonishing, and especially from Gladys Liu. I mean, Liu is the Hong Kong-born Liberal MP who has been formally tied to at least 3 organisations that were under mainland China's official propaganda arm, the United Front, communist outfit. And when she came on my show last month, she falsely denied that, only to later admit she was, in fact, with those organisations after all. Now, the Prime Minister back then stood with her, or in fact, sat with her in Parliament in a show of solidarity. But since then, the government has hidden Liu from the media. It has wanted to stop journalists from asking Liu any more questions about the mainland Chinese donors who gave her so many big donations and why they did that, and just why she was with groups spouting Communist China's lines. Now, Liu has said she's a loyal Australian, puts Australia first. Yet here she is, now, at a birthday party at a Victorian police station for the Communist Chinese regime. Isn't all this insane? Isn't all this craven? Is it not dangerous? There you go. Behold the madness of multiculturalism on full and toxic display, weakening our unity, weakening our loyalties, weakening what I thought were our values.